Welcome and good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah Birch. I use she, her pronouns, and I have the pleasure of being an Associate Director of Admissions and Recruitment for the Brown School at Washington University in St. Louis. I am very excited to be here this evening with a stellar panel of folks from the Brown School as we introduce our brand new part-time MSW program. Just a couple things before we get started. This is being recorded, and so feel free to take yourself off mute if you'd like to ask questions later on or throughout. Since it's a small group of us, we very much welcome conversation. You can also ask questions in the chat, and I will turn on the live transcript option if that's something that you need. And also, just to let everyone know too, this will be posted later on our YouTube page, so you can go back and watch the recording. With that, I will now turn it over to Jenny Harpring to introduce herself and say a few words.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this session. I'm really excited to be here with you all. I'm Jenny Harpring. I use she, her pronouns, and I serve as the Associate Dean for the social work program. And I'm really excited to be here with you all to launch this program, to share a little bit about the work we've been doing to build out a part-time program for our students that are interested in getting a master's degree in social work and focusing on mental health.
Thank you, Jenny. And now I'll turn it to Ryan.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Ryan Lindsay. I am an associate professor of practice here at the Brown School, and I chair our mental health concentration. So I get the lovely privilege of working with all these amazing faces on the screen in my role as the chair, but also, in the conceptualization and the launch and the implementation of this new part-time program, which I'm extremely excited about. Many years have been in the making for this one little evening conversation. And so I'm excited to be able to share what that's going to look like and answer any questions throughout this time. And I'll also throw my contact information in the chat. Feel free to reach out. You can schedule with me and talk further about the part-time program. So to this, I would love, I'm going to throw this out to my my colleagues on this screen, and I'm going to start with Josh. If you could introduce yourself, popcorn to the next person, and we'll walk this amazing panel through.
Thank you, Ryan. Good evening, everybody. My name is Josh Walela. I use he, him pronouns. My role here at the Brown School is Assistant Dean for Student Affairs, and so my job is to work with a wide range of student affairs and academic leaders just to support the student experience. I mostly concern myself with kind of outside of the classroom experience to make sure people are successful. But in turn, obviously, I oversee things like academic advising. And so we kind of have a good cross-section and connection between what happens inside of the classroom and outside of the classroom. And I'm going to pass it on to Julie.
Thank you. Welcome, welcome. So my name is Julie Musknock. I use she, her pronouns. I am a licensed clinical psychologist, and I teach in the mental health concentration. So in particular, I teach differential diagnosis and also cognitive behavioral therapy. I also have partnered with Ryan in teaching a postmaster certificate program for the assessment and treatment of PTSD in adults. So very excited to launch this new program, and I'm happy to share my contact information if you have any questions. So welcome, welcome. And Pam, I'll go ahead and pass it to you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. My name is Pam Begay. Yat-e. I'm from the Navajo Nation, Dene, in Shiprock, New Mexico. And I'm so happy to be here with you all. I am an associate professor of practice here at the Brown School, and I'm an alum. So I'm so happy to be back, and I am teaching in the mental health concentration right now, and this is my first semester. teaching. I did teach one course last year in January, Indigenous Knowledge and Cultures course. So that was a phenomenal course, and we had a wonderful time, and just want to welcome everybody, and so happy to be here on this panel. Thank you.
We're excited to have you, Pam. Allison, if you want to go next.
Sure. Yes. I'm sorry. We have two Allisons here.
We do. That's my mistake.
Sorry, I wasn't sure if we were introducing everyone, so I'm sorry, Allison, go ahead.
No, it's quite all right. My name is Allison Rico. I am one of the faculty members in the Office of Field Education. I assist students with their practicums, primarily working with students in the mental health concentration, as well as an LCSW that teaches mental health classes as well. And I will go ahead and popcorn that over to Ragini or Allison. And I'm sorry, the other Allison.
Ragini, why don't you go ahead?
I was like, I'm here to learn. Hi, everyone. My name is Ragini Maddy Party. I use she, her pronouns. I am also a faculty member here at WashU at the Brown School. And I am the Assistant Dean for Academic Programs, so primarily social work, public health. And like I said, here to learn and with all of you. So, and I will popcorn it to Allison. I think now is your time. I'm sorry.
Now it's my turn. Thank you. My name's Allison Rapini. I am the Director of Human Resources at COCA, Center of Creative Arts here in St. Louis. My undergraduate degree is in human services, so I've always had just kind of a passion for working with anyone ranging from children to adults. Obviously, I've taken a different pathway, so just kind of trying to learn more information about the program and see if it's something to pursue.
That's amazing. Welcome. What about any of the other folks that have their video off? With the names say Phoenix, Tracy, and Lisa, but I'm not sure if that represents who you are.
I can chat. Sorry, it's been a long day, so this is what we're getting at this point. So my name is actually legally Carrie. I go by Phoenix. I primarily work with kids, so it's best that they don't know my real name. I've worked at Safe Connections for about 8 years. I've been a prevention educator most of the time. Due to the pandemic, I've been doing a lot of work around mental health, and I've designed a series of classes around mental health, teaching kids about mental health, and I'm wanting to learn more and looking into possibly becoming a therapist. So
That's
I was just kind of
amazing.
curious.
Well, welcome. You're doing really important work.
Thank you. I like what I do.
Good. Tracy or Lisa? It's okay if you don't want to. I'll take the silence as a signal.
We got two passes in the chat. They're just, yeah.
Okay, great. All right. Well, to that, welcome, Lisa from New York City. Yay, teach fourth grade. Oh, fourth graders. They're amazing and difficult. I love it. All my nieces and nephews are around that age, so I love it. Welcome. All right. Do we want to start the slides? I'm also going to throw in the chat a link if anybody is interested in following up with me to schedule an appointment. I use a Calendly where you can just sign up and get into my schedule, and we can chat more about the part-time program or the Brown School or mental health or anything related to education and social work. So welcome everyone to the Brown School part-time program overview. Go ahead, Josh. Josh is driving, so we're gonna play this back and forth. So here at the Brown School, our mission is to educate and prepare future social work and public health leaders in the areas of policy, practice, and research. And so we wish to pioneer research and apply results to impact policy and practice locally, nationally, and internationally. And we strive to collaborate with organizations to improve access to and quality of social services and to address social and economic justice. And here at the Brown School, we are a school of social work, a program in public health, and a program in social policy. And so what we bring here and what's unique here at the Brown School is that we really are from the micro to the macro in across all the curriculum that we have here, but particularly when I'm going to talk a little bit more about the mental health concentration later. And we get to benefit from all of the amazing faculty and staff that do work all over the world, but also who are also really embedded regionally. So it's an exciting place to be. So our part-time Masters of Social Work program, this is new. So we're launching it for our first year, and it is similar to our full-time program where it is 60 credit hours, and which is oriented around being able and structured to be able to finish in as little as 3 years, or you can take up to 3.5 years, or even if you need to, you can extend it longer. But the benefit of this program is most part-time programs are 4 years in terms of it's half the time of a full-time program. And so we really took a lot of thought and effort into the conceptualization of our part-time program so that we can get people doing the work that you're already doing amazing work. And so the idea is, how do we amplify that work and get you out there using your master's degree as soon as possible? And so I'm excited to unveil what that will look like. So our curriculum is designed to be different. We have several pillars in which we organize the framework of our curriculum. The first is that we strive to understand people's and populations and experiences from an evidence-based. And so we want to be training our future social workers and our future social work professionals not only in evidence-based practices, so practices that have been tested and studied and established to be effective, but also in the strategies and understanding of how do we develop new evidence-based practices. We know that we can benefit from the science that came before, and we have more science and work to be doing in the future. And so our program really centers evidence-based practice as a process, not as a static thing that a person does. We also are going to train and provide curriculum that trains all of our social work graduates in general social work practice, which means we're going to provide curriculum at all levels of intervention, from micro, so the individual, family, and group, to the meso, community, and organizations, to the macro when we have more policy-related conversations. We also embody an anti-oppressive framework. And so what this means is our curriculum is really organized a set of principles that are looking at how do we take a look at our systems and structures that maintain privilege for some and disadvantage others. And so our curriculum is really designed around how do we look at the structures of oppression, how they show up, and particularly in the mental health concentration, how these systems and structures either contribute to, maintain, or amplify current mental health conditions or impact mental well-being overall, but also give important insights on the quality of our current system and services and interventions and what is needed for our future. And then one of the things that really makes us unique is because our mental health concentration is so large, and we draw from all over the world for people who come to our program, we also have an extensive selection of elective offerings, and in fact have more treatment and intervention specific coursework than any other school of social work around. And then also another pillar is that we anticipate and we know that our graduates go on to take leadership positions very quickly post-masters. And we anticipate this to also be the case for many of our part-time students, knowing that most individuals who are going to be seeking the part-time option are going to be working and are probably working or have worked in this field. And leadership readiness is one of the core competencies that our school has established And we are centering curriculum around preparing you to lead in various ways, whether that's an organization, whether that's being a supervisor, or whether that's a clinical practitioner who is also doing community work in all kinds of different ways. And so leadership is a part of our core curriculum as well. For anyone, for those that are unfamiliar or new to social work, our Council on Social Work Education asks all schools of social work to ensure that you graduate from our school having met these specific competencies. And so we're ultimately training you in a generalist social work practice. Generalist means skills of engagement, assessment, and intervention at the individual, family, group, community, and organizational level. However, we also have specialized areas of practices that really elevate one or more of those levels of intervention. And so our part-time program is really designed to prepare individuals to move into the clinical social work realm by practicing with individuals, families, and groups. That said, any degree with any MSW degree prepares you to work at any level. So even if you're not 100% sure that you want to do specifically clinical work, but you want to work in the behavioral health world, and a master's in social work, is one of the routes that you're seeing to get you to your career goals. Our program is going to prepare you to be able to apply for and be eligible for jobs at many levels. So the curricular format. So first off, our part-time program is essentially an in-person program. So what this means is that not your entire curriculum, but there are going to be many components of the part-time program that's going to be asking you to be in person on campus in a classroom. All right, but we will also be taking advantage of remote learning. Remote learning is not a new method to deliver and learn. Over the pandemic, we've gotten actually quite good at engaging in this method of knowledge engagement. And so we're also trying to maximize the flexibility of the program. And so some of your coursework will be completed remotely completely, and others will be a hybrid of sometimes in person, sometimes remote. And what we might call synchronous. So we show up together. And so synchronous learning would be, we're going to hang out here on Zoom and we're going to all be here together. Asynchronous learning is we've developed a set of self-paced modules that you're going to work your way through to be able to receive and understand and interpret and reflect upon the curricular content in that context. And so we're also going to take advantage of both weekly classes for some courses, and then also a weekend format. Because this program is designed to be a cohort model, you're going to come to the program, you're going to show up to our orientation, and those folks that are in your orientation with you will be your collaborative learning partners for your entire program. And so you'll take all your required coursework together. And one of the benefits of that style is we can really maximize both relational connections and networking and getting to know each other, also with intensive weekend formats around covering a lot of content in a short period of time, but in a really transformational way. So what does this look like? All right, so year one is all about foundation level coursework. So all Master of Social Work programs have foundation work, and then they have areas of specialized practice, which we call concentrations. So your first year is focused on curricular requirements that the Council on Social Work Education asks all schools to be able to deliver. And what this looks like is your fall semester is going to be an in-person and a mixture of in-person and weekend courses around social justice and human diversity. And then you're going to be in a combination of remote that will include both, we're going to hang out together synchronously and asynchronously. You're going to complete these self-paced modules on your own and then come together to talk about it. and we'll cover primary theories in social work, in which we call human behavior. So that's fall semester. So two courses each semester, essentially 3 credits each. So six credits there. In your spring semester, you're going to enter the practice world of social work, and you're going to be socialized to social work practice when working with individuals, families, and groups. Again, that will be a in-person and weekday evening format. Then we will also introduce social welfare policies and services. So these are the fundamental policies, federal, state, local, regional policies that organize the structure of social work services. Then one of the pieces that allows you to complete your program in 3 years is that we take advantage of coursework during the summer. And so in the summer of your first year, you will take research methods. And research methods is really understanding the research process, how to read research reports and articles, how to gather and search out evidence, and also how to conduct research at a basic level so that you understand how to move and advance new innovations in the future. And then you're also going to be introduced to social, economic, and political environments. So this is really bringing in the social context and looking at different structures around social, economic, and political environments. And then if you wish, you can also take an in-person weekend course called motivational interviewing in that first summer. And so what that course actually really is about, this is your science of engagement. And so these are strategies that are based on research that looks at how, when a person is thinking about making a change, what are the strategies of engagement that are associated with people making changes? And then it also highlights the contrast to that, the kinds of strategies that are associated with keeping people stuck. So that's an option for many folks. In year 2, you're going to continue on and complete your foundation curriculum and then move into your concentration level coursework. So in the fall semester, you will take social work practice with organizations and communities, and then begin your concentration or mental health coursework with the theories course. So you want to kind of think about your theories as your foundation. I think about teaching and learning kind of a little bit in a triangle. So like the foundation of all that you're learning is going to build out of the theories in behavioral health. And then this is where you start your practicum. So all social work programs have a practicum. Practicum or field education is signature pedagogy in social work. This is the place where you're moving. I'm learning all about this stuff in a classroom, but then how do I do this? And so field education is where we're moving and bridging the curriculum to actually engaging in social work practice. Spring semester, you'll be introduced to interventions in behavioral health. So these are generalist practices in mental health. So no matter what program or place you land, if you're practicing clinical social work, these are the basic competencies that are necessary for that work, as well as differential diagnosis. And you're going to continue on with practicum then. And then in your second summer, you'll be introduced to principles, practice, and services in substance use disorder treatment and behavioral health policies and services. And then there are options that we are putting together for clinical courses that we call skills labs. So the skills labs are really focused on building a specific skill set in a specific intervention. So they're very focused on practice-based skills, less on theory. Then following your third year, this is where more flexibility comes into the program. You'll take leadership and management of organizations. You'll take some electives in your fall semester, your third year. Continue on with that concentration practicum into the spring semester, where you'll take evaluations of programs and services, another elective, and continue on with that the practicum. And then finally finish up in the summer of your third year and with potentially taking some skills labs that are optional, or other concentrational courses or electives. If you choose, you don't have to do that during that final summer. You can move this into the fourth year, or the 0.5 after the 3. If you feel that you want to take a slower pace, that's totally appropriate and fine to do. So there you go. That is our program, and that's what it's looking like. All of our students here at the Brown School, so we have concentrations. So the part-time program right now has 1 concentration, and that's mental health. But you also get an opportunity to use your elective hours in various ways. One way that students use their elective hours is to select a specialization. And so a specialization, think about a specialization is a content area that either helps you do your work more effectively or really specializes in another area that intersects with mental health. So for instance, if you're interested in behavioral health and you're also interested in management, and you see your career pursuing management in organizations, we have a leadership and management, we have a management specialization. For those that wish to address and intervene at the policy level, or want to deepen their skill sets in understanding how does policy shape not only our service array, but also our practice as a profession, policy specialization might make sense. For those that are working or wish to work in either program evaluation or potentially are thinking about pursuing a more research career, we have a research specialization. For those that want to look at that intersection of a lot of what we're doing in mental health, it is directly linked to sexual health and education. You can increase your competencies and knowledge base around sexual health and education by selecting that specialization. If you're interested in starting something as an entrepreneur, but not just an entrepreneur, one that is looking at how is my entrepreneurship going to create a social benefit, social entrepreneurship could also be an opportunity for you. And then system dynamics is a method for understanding really complex systems. And so what that means is that it's giving you a set of skills and strategies to take in and collect information and data, how to make sense of that data, and how to make recommendations to change really complex systems. And to that, I am going to bounce this over to, I believe, Allison Rico, my amazing colleague, to talk about practicum opportunities.
Yes, sir, you are. Well, practicum, as Ryan relayed, practicum is really important, and it's not just because you need it and it's required for you to graduate, but it is that time and opportunity for practicum for students to turn the theory that they're learning in the classrooms into actual practice in the field, working with the populations and working with the organizations that they would like to work with. And you can go ahead and move on to the next slide. Awesome. So unlike other organizations, other universities, students actually have an opportunity to choose their own practicum. You get to choose the organization, whether that be within a school setting or working in a private practice or working with several organizations. We have approximately more than that, but we have over 400 diverse partners that can be utilized for this process, working both during the day as well as in the evening. And we're adding more as we go on. And not only are we adding on, but we also have a streamlined process that will allow students to affiliate organizations that they would love to work with. And we can assist them in working on getting them affiliated with us as well, so that the students can complete their practicum opportunities with these organizations. Additionally, students do have an opportunity to work practicum hours at their current place of employment.
I think we might have lost Allison for a moment. And so I'll pick up where she left off and see if we can circle her back around to her. As she was speaking about being able to engage in your practicum at your place of employment. So I think many folks who are interested in this part-time program will be continuing to work or currently working at organizations. Several of you have already identified that, Safe Connections, COCA, where there could potentially be already established practicum opportunities through our full-time program, but also we have the opportunity to be able to affiliate new practicum sites. So if you're working at an organization and your organization isn't already affiliated with us, and your organization does work related to mental health or behavioral health, or there's some element that bridges that content area for social work, we can work with the field office to determine whether or not the organization meets some minimum requirements for that affiliation, but also will allow us to be able to create a practicum opportunity so that you can, leverage that place of employment that you're doing really amazing work in already. Let's see. And then also you have a team of field faculty advisors. And so we have a very large field faculty. Allison would be a primary contact for field. However, we have a lot of amazing field faculty that not only teach in our program across the programs, but also are embedded across organizations here regionally. And they are here to support you. Allison, I picked up where you jumped off, and what I was just saying is we have this amazing field faculty here to support. And so I don't know if you want to add a little bit more to that, but I did summarize the connection between a employment-based practicum. So.
Okay, I appreciate that.
We're a team. It's social work.
Well, it sounds like you were talking about the fabulous team that I work with. And basically, as the field faculty team, we are here from beginning to end. So from the moment you walk through the door for orientation, through graduation, and actually inputting your final grades, we are here to assist you in securing, maintaining, and being successful in your practicum opportunity while you're with us. Thank you, Ryan.
All right, so I'm here to talk about a lot of what we do to support you, both in the classroom and out of the classroom. And as you can tell from this extensive list of support mechanisms at the Brown School, we really take a holistic, student-centered approach to supporting you. And we're very fortunate at the Brown School to have quite a few resources. We have our own in-house library, which is on campus in Brown Hall. It's beautiful, and it's a great place where you can get access to a lot of resources. For those of you who are returning to school, especially if you've been out of school for a little while, one of the benefits of our library is that they have an amazing staff that can help you identify literature, research articles, etc., for your coursework and your studies. And so that's access, that's part of the whole package when you come to the Brown School. And so it's an incredible gift that we have. We have a SAS lab, communications lab. We've talked already about field education and the practicum experiences. We're going to go a little bit more into career services here momentarily, so I'll put that on pause for a little bit. If you are returning to school, whether it's been 1 year or 20 years, if you ever had a chance to be a part of student leadership opportunities, there are those opportunities in grad school as well. And so there's a great opportunity to do that as well. Overall, we'll momentarily talk about our advising approach as well, but these are just some great support mechanisms to support your success in our program. So just to briefly talk about our academic advising system, you actually get 3 advisors at the Brown School. And so the first one I'll discuss briefly here is our academic advisors. So these are staff members who are dedicated to help you work through your curricular needs. So they're the folks who are trained on course sequencing, required courses, prerequisites, core requisites, etc. Those sound like a lot of really difficult terms right now, but these are the people to help you ease through that process. So they keep you on track to register and to graduate, so they see you through that entire process. Second group is our faculty advisors. So these are actual faculty members. There's a couple of folks here on the call right now, but these are folks who connect your classroom experience, of course, to the out of classroom experience and beyond. And one of the things that I want to really encourage you to consider is a big part of the career experiences is networking, and faculty are an amazing resource when it comes to one of your early networks in grad school. Our faculty members have worked within the community of St. Louis, and they're well connected within St. Louis. And so they can talk both not only just about practice, but also getting you connected with some organizations and some experiences that you're interested in as well. And then finally, as Allison talked about, field education, where you actually have an advisor in field education. So they're the folks who are there to help you identify specific practicum sites for both your foundation and concentration practicum, but there's so much more than that. I mean, the reality is that you can go into them and talk to them about everything academic, practicum, and everything in between. And so a vital resource that we offer here at the Brown School. So you get a lot of attention, I guess is probably the shortest way in which I can say this to support your success at the Brown School. Ryan, did you want to talk about faculty?
Sure. So our faculty here at the Brown School are made up of scholars, practitioners, and amazing educators. And so we pull from some of the best researchers in mental health services research in the country and actually globally. We have some of the most experienced and amazing practitioners. We have them on this call right now that I get the privilege of working with. And all of our folks here are really here to support you in your educational journey, but your career journey. And so I wanted to let, as the mental health concentration chair, and I can also speak for all of my colleagues on here, I know that they will be okay with this, that we're always here and available to you if you need additional clarification or advising, or need to get to know us. What we are here as a faculty, we are here to help support the next generation of the work, that we're doing now for many generations to come. And so we want to get to know who you are. We want to know what you're all about and the change that you're wanting to make and the kind of work you want to do and the impact you want to make in this world. And then we want to be able to leverage all of our networks to help you to do that. And so, as each of you will be assigned what's called a concentration advisor. And those concentration advisors are really about giving you career advice and also about how do you scaffold your education or your first job post-masters or the next job after that to be able to achieve the ultimate goals that you want to work with. And so we're here for you. Reach out to us.
Thank you, Ryan. So one of the things that you may have seen on there is the 9 to 1 student to faculty ratio. And I think that says a lot for the ability to develop relationships with our faculty. But the other thing is, what after school, right? Ryan really talked about some of the faculty support there, but we also, as I mentioned earlier, have our own dedicated career services office. And it's in the office that has a staff that's here to support you in a variety of ways. And so you can see a list of some of the things we do, everything from updating that resume. Some of you may not have dusted off a resume in a few years or longer. For me, I know that's something I try to do annually, but when you're working in a position for a while, that's something that could be very helpful. We do one-on-one and group advising. We help with mock interviews. And we even do Zoom interviews because that's the world that we've been living in the last couple of years. We have some great opportunities to talk to you about salary negotiation because can be a pretty sticky subject for quite a few people. And so we can help you out with that. So there are a lot of different ways. And the one thing I really want to emphasize with our career services is that we are available to you while you are considering this program to discuss your options for what the future looks like. We're available to you while you are a student with us. And then as an alumni, our career services team is here and available for you afterwards. I've talked to alumni from the 90s and moving forward about updating resumes, senior level positions, and just advising them on their careers. And so this is a resource that is yours from here forever. And so we see that as a pretty big value statement for an education at the Brown School, at least one of the pieces of that. Finally, licensure is one of the topics that folks are going to talk about a little bit here later in this presentation, but I will say that we work with the state to do a licensure workshop specifically for our students. And like this session, we record it so that it's available for you if you're not able to attend live. And then you can work with some of our staff to talk through particular processes both here in Missouri and Illinois, but we also work with most of our students for our full-time programs usually come from outside of the state. So if you're thinking about a big move anytime after your graduate studies, we can help you navigate that process as well. As far as where people land, there's right now online is our 2018-2019 career outcomes report. We'll get the 1920 up there pretty soon, and we're collecting 2021. But what that report shows is a host of areas where our alumni have landed over the years. But here are some examples of what our students tend to do. And I think specifically with the mental health concentration, you can see some of these are some significant leadership roles, but then also doing direct practice. But with the LCSW, it's a long career, as some of you may know, and it could be even longer. And not just in LCSW, in every career. And so in the world we live in, with the opportunity to career pivot multiple times within a career lifespan, there's no doubt that the LCSW and the MSW degree in general is a great degree to set you up to do a broad work of things, to be a contribution and make a difference in the world, however you see fit. Pass it on to my partners.
All right, I think it's my turn, and hopefully my puppy doesn't disturb too much. I have a very anxious puppy behind the door who's grumpy that I'm in here, so hopefully that doesn't make any disturbance, but go ahead and go to the next slide. So we have a couple application deadlines to keep in mind. The next one is our March 1 regular decision deadline. And then after that, we do continue to accept applications on a rolling basis. The absolute final date that you need to submit an application if you'd like to be considered for fall 22 is July 1st. Keep in mind, the earlier you apply, the better, because you're going to be poised to know next steps, get connected to folks like Ryan and your advisors. And so applying early is key. And then enrollment starts May 1. So if you're admitted, let us know that you'd like to join us by May 1, and then you'll start to get information about joining our community. To touch briefly on what our application requirements are, these are the basics. We do have a couple essay requirements, a personal statement and an analytical essay. Those are the places where we really encourage folks to spend the most time polishing up their application. This is your time, your opportunity to shine and really show us what it is that you're passionate about and what it is that's bringing you to the Brown School to do this work. And so one of my key pieces of advice is follow the prompts. It's so silly and simple thing to say, but it will really help guide you into what we're looking for. We try to be as transparent as possible in our application requirements. And so follow those prompts. The personal statement is your opportunity to tell us your story. Your analytical essay is your opportunity to show off your academic chops. Really, it's a sense. It gives us a sense of your ability to think critically about an issue that's important to you. So choose something that you know. Of course, references, a resume and CV are required as well. Transcripts from your undergraduate institution. We won't need the official transcripts until after you've been admitted. So unofficial for the application is perfect. There is a scholarship interview that you'll do, as well as an application fee. And Phoenix, I saw your question about GPA. And thank you, Ryan, for answering that. I'm going to go on to the next slide because I talk a little bit about, no, I didn't include that. I'll talk a little bit about that here. So holistic application review for us, really what that means is that we're taking a very holistic look, looking at every piece of your application and not discounting an application for one piece of it. Your application tells a story, and one piece, your GPA, for example, isn't the full story. And so we do have a minimum GPA preference of 3.0. But if your GPA from undergrad is lower than that, we will still review your application because we know that you have a lot of experience, professional and lived personal experience that can also lend to your potential to do really well. And what your letters of recommendation, what your references say about you, that also really helps us to kind of get that full picture. So choose people who like you to write your letters of recommendation, who know you really well and can kind of champion you as an potential to do well in the MSW program. So talking a little bit about financing the degree. So for all of our applicants who are admitted to the part-time MSW program, you will receive scholarship support from the Brown School, and that is equivalent to 3 credits of per credit tuition annually. Right now we have tuition numbers for the current academic year. Tuition numbers for the 2022-23 academic year will be posted probably within the next couple weeks. But you can go on our website to see what the tuition rates are for this year to give you a sense ballpark of what the per credit hour tuition is. And then know that that discount comes from the scholarship support you get from the Brown School. And I'm happy to talk through that a little bit more offline. You can also apply for scholarships from external organizations. We maintain a pretty robust list, but we know that that's not an exhaustive list, and I'd be happy to share those resources with you. For some, a research assistantship might be a good fit depending on your work schedule. If you're going to be working while doing the part-time position or part-time program, you can also apply for federal student loans and work study, and then of course out-of-pocket expenses. All right, so with 10 minutes left of our session, I just want to leave you all with a few places to learn more information. You can schedule a personalized visit with the Office of Admissions. You can talk to a current student in the mental health concentration to get a sense of what the coursework is like and what their Brown School journey has been thus far, or connect with one of the wonderful faculty on this panel. And we have a whole library of virtual info sessions for you to browse, with a few live sessions coming up in the next couple of months. Great. I'm going to turn it back to Ryan. Here's our contact information. And I know others have left some contact info in the chat too, but let's answer some questions.
Yeah, what kinds of questions do we all have? And thank you, team, for all that information.
I have a quick question. Sorry, I turned off my camera. I was having some internet issues, so I'm hoping that the turning off the camera helps. Just from coming from someone who does have, we all have full-time jobs, and I understand that this is a new program, but have you ever received any feedback from other WashU part-time programs, just as far as what that looks like from a work-life balance, or just having the ability to kind of balance both working and taking this program? Wondering if you have any insight into that.
Yeah, I think we spent a lot of time thinking about what it would be like to work full-time and go to school. We have full-time students that are doing this. And a full-time load is really undoable. Our part-time program is specifically designed to be to support full-time work. And so it does not ask, and the course load as well as the course requirements really do, of course it is, adding something to your schedule because you're adding in a program, but it is designed to not be overwhelming. Beyond that, what you'll find is that we are very willing and open to working with our students. We are determined to help students persevere if they enter our program. And so we want to figure out solutions. And we also recognize that life does happen. If you're working full-time and you're also, you got some kiddos and you've got, other obligations and, things arise, we're going to work with you and in partnership with Josh and his team and in student affairs for us to be able to create a pathway that will really work for you.
Ryan, I just would love to add for Allison's kind of question. As a person who went back to school to complete a degree part-time while working full-time, let me just start by saying this. One of the things that we used to say to admissions is grad school's hard, but school's hard in general. So we don't want to ever tell you, we don't want you to show up and find the rigor of the classroom and think, oh, they didn't warn me about that. So let me just go and get that out of the way. But it's also very doable and it's worthwhile. And there's a reason that there's a rigor, because we believe that what we have to offer will improve and enhance your practice and your future. But the one thing about going to school full-time, I'm going to school part-time while working full-time, is the way the program is set up, and from what I've seen, with having about 6 credit hours per semester and having evenings and weekends as the options, it's the ideal situation. And it's probably on par with what you'll see at other programs, for other degree programs around the region. And I've known plenty of people who have a whole range of external needs that they have to attend to, or are able to do that. So as Ryan said, talk with us. We can connect you with people who may be in a similar circumstance. Let's say you're taking care of a loved one or you have other obligations, so they can even share with you their advice on how they were able to negotiate that. I'd be more than happy to talk to anybody about navigating working full-time while completing a degree. It's something that's worth it, and it provides great opportunities for you to help people at the level that you want to, which I think is the most important piece.
Great, thank you both.
Yeah, awesome. And to the question in the chat about how often would you be expected to be on campus? And the answer to that is actually it depends. Depends on the semester and the year, because each course is designed with a specific, method in mind that's going to work the best. So some courses will be weekly on campus and one night a week. So you would expect that. What we were very intentional about is we mixed one in-person with one remote course pretty much every semester throughout your curriculum. And the amount of on-campus time is also going to be a function of whether or not there are weekend intensives embedded in that specific course. So the answer, it's a difficult question because it's not standardized, but no, you would not ever be on campus more than once per week or one evening a week.
Thank you. That's super helpful to know. Because in addition to my job, I also run the joint orientation for Sledsfin, and that's, a couple weeks a year where I'm super busy.
Yeah. Other questions?
I have a question if nobody has one. Anybody can answer it too. Faculty involved as well. How would you describe the culture of the Brown School?
I'm going to defer this over to my colleagues because I've talked this whole time.
I'm happy to address that a little bit. The culture of the Brown School, and the Brown School as an extension of Washington University, is very collaborative. You'll see collaboration among the faculty, among the students. It is not an environment or a culture that I experience as competitive. Students are really supporting each other. It's very common to see students studying together, working together in groups, and building a community of learning, and a community of exploration, and a community of becoming the next social work practitioners. But also say that there's a culture of trying and striving at the Brown School, and we are always moving toward becoming, I don't know, like a more actualized version of ourselves, for lack of a better term.
I think many of our students are surprised, and they have to actually unlearn the idea that education needs to be competitive. And when they get to the Brown School, they, it takes a little bit of readjustment to say, hey, we're actually all on our own journeys, and we're not here to compete with each other. That actually we all bring some really important information into this classroom as we co-create new learning and knowledge and explore, different ways of thinking about very complex issues, because there isn't a right way to do it. There's not one way to be thinking about these things. Any of my other colleagues want to add on to the culture piece in our last couple minutes?
The word that comes to mind for me is it's a very collaborative. We work together as a team. We work to make sure that the students getting what they need, and it can come from absolutely anywhere, even when there are specific areas for those needs. We're all working together to make sure the students get that. So I would have to utilize the word collaborative as my word to say that as a team, we try to work very, very, very hard to provide you with not just what you need, but also what you aspire to do.
I would agree with that. And I would also say that there really seems to be a passion for learning. Like there's an excitement, there's a synergy. I often leave classes feeling really inspired about the next generation that's coming into this field. So Allison, in response to your question about the work-life balance, I think that's an important part too, that when you're really immersed in work that you care about and that you love, learning tends to create some energy that helps push through even those weeks when you've got a lot to do and a lot to balance.
And I would just want to echo a little bit also about the collaboration. And just so you all know, there's always someone to talk to. And I think that that's been a really good starting point, being new to the Brown School as a faculty member. So as a prospective student, there's always someone that you can talk to.
Well, I'm looking at the time and we're at 7 Central.
Ryan, can
Yeah.
I just address something really quick that was asked?
Yeah.
Someone asked if there's a lot of older students. And I remember at one point with Next Move, and I got to an age when I was like, wait, what? These are older students? And it tends to be younger than me, actually, at this time of my life. So we can get you probably some numbers. Sarah could probably provide some numbers. But I anticipate that most of our part-time student cohort will be students who have more experience. And I don't know if they're older, but maybe more wise or more seasoned might be the word that I would use. I'm guessing it's going to be a range. For our full-time program, we definitely have a pretty good number of students from undergrad. We have a nice range in the middle that has 3 to 5 or 5 to 7 years. And then we have about 10, 20% that are a little bit older than that. So it's a kind of a range. But Sarah can probably get better numbers down the line for that.
And I do think our part-time program isn't really aiming to attract and be accessible to more folks who haven't found our full-time program doable given their life.
Just popped in the chat to say that our ages have ranged from 23 to 65. So we truly have a really diverse array of folks coming to us at all walks of life and ready to kind of make that career change. So wonderful. Well, Ryan, I will leave it to you to send us off.
Yeah, well, thank you all for attending tonight. Thank you all to my panel of amazing colleagues. And for all those who are going to watch this later, please reach out. We want to hear from you. Social work is not only a profession, it's a profession that has changed my own life. It has given me perspectives. It has challenged my privilege. It has created pathways to healing that I never thought to be in the context of not only education, but also healing. And I would love to be able to be a part of your journey. And I know that all of our faculty here and staff that are here supporting you would love to be a part of your journey. So you can meet those career goals that you always had. And now there might be a program that can get you there. And so we look forward to hearing more from you. Never hesitate to reach out to our admissions, and my info's in the chat. So thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.